Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger on this Tuesday, June the 24th. Now, we're about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast because several changes are expected, including a modest cool down through the next few days, then bringing the heat for the weekend. On top of that, there is even a chance of some thunderstorms, not just today, but going on later on next week. So we're going to look at all of that plus more here through the next several minutes. So buckle up, it's going to be fun. We're going to start off with what we're seeing across Central Oregon. A lot more clouds than earlier today, and these are convective clouds, meaning that temperatures picked up quite a bit earlier this afternoon. We're topping out in the 80s, even a few 90s possible, and when we look across Central Oregon, we see that clouds have developed. We also see a little bit of haze, but just to check in with air quality, we're using data from eSpace and the DEQ. eSpace is a local company, and they have a network of air quality monitoring station with a real-time feed right into Central Oregon Daily's Weather Center, and at the moment, they're all showing good air quality, as well as the hourly average from the DEQ in the green. Now, a quick look at satellite and radar, and through the last couple of hours, clouds have been developing. There's a shower that's just showing up right around Sisters, but not all of that is reaching the ground yet. More of this is expected through the rest of this afternoon and this evening. We could even have a couple of thunderstorms developing, but when we look a little bit more at the bigger picture, there's a lot more cloud cover on the other side of the Cascades, and that's all part of a weak front that's fizzling out over the Pacific Northwest, leaving that moisture behind through the next few days. We are looking at more in and out clouds, but a dip in temperatures, and that dip in temperatures knocks us back down from above average for this time of the year and well into the mid to upper 80s today, back down into the 70s through the next few days. Now, looking at the bigger scale picture, we do see those clouds just offshore coming on land, actually, and as this system moves inland, it's going to really break apart. Now, our ridge of high pressure that's out over the Pacific Ocean is pretty strong, and it's going to take a little bit to get here. We'll really notice it by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's what our next big warming trend is. Until then, between now and then, I should say, all of this moisture over the northern Pacific Ocean and even the Gulf of Alaska, that's going to wrap around our high and come right into Central Oregon. That's why we're looking at more in and out clouds. And notice just offshore, we have those isobars stacked up. Isobars are equal lines of pressure, and they're stacked up offshore, meaning that we do have some breezy winds right along the coastline. But for the Tri-County area, winds are not that strong, and it's been like that through the day. Now, a breezy afternoon is expected, and we're already seeing quite a few of these clouds developing. That development continues, and that's where we catch our chance of some showers with a few thunderstorms possible, even by 7 p.m., some of them staying on radar. So let's go ahead and open this up a little bit. I'm going to set this to the current time, and we're going to look at this forecast model little by little. So through the next couple of hours, scattered showers develop. Where you're seeing the yellows and the oranges, that's where we have a chance of some thunderstorm activity, and really that only carries into this evening. Before sunset, we start to see it taper off, and even between now and then, I'm going to rock this back and forth. We only have a chance of some showers, and where showers develop, we're going to be tracking for thunderstorm activity. So reset the clock to 2 p.m. Earlier this hour, and some of these showers haven't even started to develop yet, but it is going to be possible. After that, by Wednesday, we're looking at in and out clouds. More sunshine, and then by the afternoon, more clouds develop, not much in the way of rain. By Thursday, we continue this trend with more sunshine than clouds until we hit the afternoon. Now, each evening is going to be breezy for many of us across the high desert, and getting over to relative humidity, it is dry across Central Oregon. Our humidity values and percentages are in the teens, with some 20s on the map. That's bone dry out there. And with the additional heat today and the earlier sunshine, a lot of those fine surface fuels continue to dry out. Now, if any showers develop this afternoon, we are going to be tracking in for thunderstorm potential, and that is where we could get into trouble because some dry lightning could be possible if those thunderstorms develop. But right now, they haven't yet. Now, when it comes to temperatures today, we topped out in the 80s with 90 degrees in Warm Springs. Actual temperatures still 90 in Warm Springs, 80s for most of the high desert, and some 70s on the map. And so it's something we're continuing to track as well, because temperatures have been running between 7 and 13 degrees warmer than just 24 hours ago. That's a big warm up, and we are sitting well above average for this time of the year. Now, through tonight, it's going to be mild, by the time we get to Wednesday, temperatures only topping out in the mid to upper 70s and lower to mid 80s. So that's already a dip in temperatures, knocking us back down to that average high of 80 degrees. Either side of 80 is where we're looking at highs tomorrow. But through the next couple of days also, we're keeping an eye on that UV intensity forecast because we are looking at it staying at 8, still very high through tomorrow and Thursday. Then Friday, fewer clouds. It goes up. By Saturday, we're at a 10. We'll give it a 10 because that very high UV index is going to be because of the abundant sunshine that we're expecting. So let's look at another forecast model. This one uses geopotential heights, and this helps us really hone in on where we have system development, where a ridge of high pressure is, and where a ridge of or a trough of low pressure is. And what it's showing me is that through the next few days, we're staying in a zonal flow. It's mostly east to west, and with that flow, typically, this time of the year, in and out clouds are expected and temperatures don't move too much. That's true, but we are looking at a dip in temperatures, bringing us back down to that seasonable range through the rest of this week. So for Wednesday, we're looking at highs in the 80s and 70s, either side of 80 degrees. A slight cool down comes with a mixture of sunshine and clouds. By Thursday, still in and out clouds, a little more sunshine than cloud cover. And going forward after that, we aren't expecting much in the way of showers. That chance of showers is just going to be this afternoon. But then by Friday, we see that dip in temperatures continues, keeping us near average for this time of the year. Thursday and Friday, those are going to be the lowest point of our cool down. So it's, like I said, it's a modest cool down. We're not looking at a big drop in temperatures, but knocking us back down to where we should be. After that, we see temperatures ramp up through this week in 80s and then 80s and 90s by Sunday. Now that next round of heating is going to take us into next week. And through next week, we keep our temperatures mostly in the 90s, but there is going to be another chance of some showers and thunderstorms, some of that convective activity by the time we get to Monday. So let's go ahead and look at a forecast model. This is the typical one, this traditional one that we use on air. It shows our ridge of high pressure out over the Pacific Ocean, and it shows that where we have some showers, those are going to be thinning out overnight. In and out clouds are expected. By Wednesday, a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover, keeping it mostly dry. And then by Thursday, a little bit more sunshine than clouds until we hit the afternoon. By Friday, mostly sunshine is expected. Notice through the rest of that forecast model, we did not have any chance of precipitation, except for a few sprinkles possible tomorrow. I really think that's going to be isolated to the highest elevations if we even get it. And then through Friday, we start to clear out. By Saturday, tons of sunshine. By Sunday, even more sunshine. And then by Monday, we see a shift in the weather pattern wherein we could have a few showers develop by the afternoon. And then by Tuesday, we keep that chance in there. Late Monday is when we get it, and then by Tuesday, it's not too far gone. And keep in mind, this is the GFS model. This is a long-range forecast model, not as high resolution, but we're going to zoom in and take a closer look. So Friday, we clear out late. Saturday and Sunday, we keep that sunshine. Then Monday, that's when we could see some of these changes. Temperatures are still going to be topping out in the 90s, but our ridge of high pressure flattens. That means it weakens, opening the door for a little bit of convection, kind of like we're seeing this afternoon. And then by the time we get to the midday hours, some clouds start to develop, much like today, just hotter. And then by the afternoon and evening, some showers. And where you see those yellows and oranges, that's where we have the potential of some thunderstorms. Now keep in mind, this is still pretty far out. This is day 7 if today is day 1. And so I'm not banking on this. I'm just saying that there's a chance. And then by Tuesday, we keep some in and out clouds across the high desert. Now, when it comes to the next couple of days, we're just looking at some possible showers this afternoon. And where there are showers, we're going to track for thunderstorm activity. After that, on Wednesday, there's a little bit of rain on the other side of the Cascades. That's going to be more like sprinkles, not really making it to our side of the mountains. And so when it comes to that upper level flow, we're going to stay in a zonal pattern here through the next couple of days. Let me set this into motion. See that east to west flow? There's a little bit of a trough digging into the southwest U.S., but it's very weak. It's the one that's pushing through today. We keep that east-west flow, that zonal flow, through Thursday. By Friday, a ridge of high pressure that is actually behind the camera here, where you're looking at my head, that's going to build into the region. That brings even more sunshine Saturday and Sunday. And with that sunshine, a big warm-up is expected, and we keep that ridge of high pressure into early next week, but it starts to flatten by Monday and Tuesday. That's when we open up the door for a little bit of convection as well. So winds gusting between 10 and 20 miles per hour right now. Not too bad at all. Actual winds 5 to 15 miles per hour, and they've been like that here through the last hour or so. Becoming breezy through this afternoon, getting into the evening, and then by Wednesday afternoon, wind speeds pick up again, 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then by Thursday, not as strong. Remember, that ridge of high pressure starts to build into the region, so it doesn't look like it's going to be that active as we go through the second half of the work week. Now for tonight, 50s and some 40s are expected. By Wednesday, we're looking at mid to upper 70s and lower to mid 80s. This is the beginning of our modest dip in temperatures, and we're topping out in the lower 80s with some 70s on the map. By Thursday and Friday, 70s with some 80s. Then Saturday, we're cranking up the heat through Sunday. By Monday, still very hot, and we have that chance of some showers. Wind speeds pick up. There could be some lightning included with that. But when we go ahead and look at your weather headlines for this Tuesday, June the 24th, we have mild conditions tonight and more clouds through the next couple of days. This modest midweek cool down will bring us back down to near and a little below average, but mostly in that seasonal range. And by this weekend, we're heating up, and it's going to be very dry. So we're going to be turning our attentions this weekend to fire weather conditions. And winds getting a little breezy during the afternoon, but not too bad. Days 8 through 14, after the 7-day planner, the full week, we're looking at above average temperatures, well above average temperatures. Now, we do need the rain. We just don't see a lot of it coming through the next couple of days. But that is the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast again. We'll see you then.